Kongpob, have you thought about what you've done? Are you ignoring me? You're shaking your tail in my face. It's been a minute since I did my last TBR video. I don't know if I mentioned it on my channel, but I have been in a reading slump for the last about 5 months, which is also the reason I've not done a wrap-up. So for those that are curious, my next video should hopefully be a wrap-up whereby I talk about all the books I read between, was it October or November? Yeah, I think it was either October or November all the way to February. You would think it's a lot of books, but like I said, I've been in a reading slump. But anyway, I seem to be slowly getting back out of it, and so my TBRs are back. And for those that do not know, what I do for my TBRs is that I reach out to my patrons. Yes, I do have a Patreon. If you want to support me on my channel, you can go to my Patreon. The link is in my description bar. But anyway, I share my bookshelf with my Patreon every month, and they pick between 6 to 12 books that they want me to read for the month, and then Kongpob like selects and narrows it down. Usually, like I said, it's usually between 6 to 10 to 12 books, but I am just recovering from a reading slump, and so I decided to just limit it to 6. But also because I do love participating in readathons, and my very good friends over at Black Prose Book Club, they do run the Throwbackathon, which is from the name, a readathon that brings back the nostalgic feels of our childhood, and I am just absolutely blown away. They always come and deliver. The 3 ladies that do run the Black Prose Book Club, you have Brittany over at Melanin Eclectic, you have Oshole over at Oshi Reads, and you have Troy Nicole over at Inkfleur Studio. I'm going to leave both the link to the Throwbackathon, this year's Throwbackathon announcement, in the description bar, and the link to all the 3 ladies YouTube channels. If you're not yet subscribed, you should totally go fix that. And so we'll kick things off with the books that my Patreon picked. If this is your first time watching me make one of these videos, what I usually do is I put treats onto books, and whichever treat my cat goes to first, I take that to be the book he wants me to read. And yeah, I do that. It's made the process simpler, because before I used to use his cat toys and it was like, bitch, you're not feeding me. Why should I care? As you can see, we have Shadow of Fox by Julie Kagawa and Bone Witch. So let's see which one Kongpob chooses. There you go. See? Pick one. Shadow of the Fox. Boy, you know I don't have the 3rd book in that trilogy, right? Sometimes my cat just refuses, like, because I also, Brittany loves Shadow of the Fox. I know that she's totally and completely thrilled, but a tiny part of me was wishing that Kongpob would choose Bone Witch. But we all know my cat, every single time I'm like, yo, pick this book, my cat is like, ha 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 ha, you thought, bitch. So yeah, what a way to stick it to me, isn't it? Like, I feed him, I clean up his shit, I give him hugs, even though sometimes he's like, do not touch me, and I'm like, nah, you're too cuddly, I want to cuddle, and he's like, bitch. And then he licks me like, okay, fine, sure, you're not that bad, but at the same time he's like, I don't know if I want to lick you or bite you or scratch you, and usually my cat does all 3 in rapid successions. But anyway, I'm getting distracted. He chose Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa. This is a kitsune story, and you all know how much I absolutely adore kitsune. Kitsune lore of, you know, fox spirits who are very mysterious and who trick humans always gets to me. And in this, our lead character Yumeko is yokai. She's half human, half kitsune, but she's trying to hide the kitsune part of her, and she grew up in a monastery. But when it is that the monks in the monastery that she grew up in, basically her family, when they are all brutally slain, she takes half of this scroll that is meant to summon the great kami dragon, who when someone will grant a wish to anybody who summons him, it does not, the dragon does not discriminate whether it's a good wish or a bad wish. It's your wish, they are going to grant it to you. But anyway, so clearly someone is after the scroll, which means that Yumeko is on the run, and she pairs up with Kage Tatsumi, a warrior who has been tasked with killing her, but does not know that it's her, because you see, my girl is hiding her identity and lying through her teeth. And I'm like, girl, I feel you. If I was on the run with one half of a scroll and I want to get the second part of the scroll, and I know that people are actively trying to kill me, I will partner up with a samurai that I know can take care of me and protect me. Clearly, there is going to be drama. Clearly, this secret that she thinks she's going to keep, she will not be able to keep it for long. And clearly, Kagetatsumi is going to be pissed. But clearly, this is drama that is going to be perfection for me. So I cannot wait to read it. Kongpob. Okay, choose. Choose. Empire of Gold. Oh my god, finally. My cat is like, bitch, finish the fucking Devilbad trilogy. What the hell is wrong with you? Thank you, Kongpob. Thank you. Once again, you do not even consider this Savage song. You're just like, nah, Empire of Gold it is. V. Schwab just cannot seem to catch a break because, yes, Kongpob chose Empire of Gold by S.A. Chakraborty. It's like my cat is like, you fucking ass bitch. Remember last year when you were like, oh my god, I cannot wait to read this book. I cannot wait to see how Nara's story ends. And Ali and yeah, what happens with Dara and everything else. And like, it's like, you were all like, oh my god, I'm coming at the thought of it. Ooh, and orgasm. And then, ooh, oh my god, the cover is so pretty. I want the UK edition. It's like, bitch, you legit waited months when you could have picked up the US edition. You're like, nah, this UK edition is too pretty. That is what I want. I want the entire set to match. That was what you were telling me, stupid ass bitch. And then you have the audacity to let 6-8 months go by without picking this book, that you do not let me sleep, that you wake up and be talking about it in your sleep. You had the fucking audacity not read the goddamn book, bitch. Like that, I think is legit what was going through my cat's head. It had nothing to do with the treats, because remember, the treats was on both books, but it was like, bitch, fucking read the book. Look at him. Which one do you want? No! What happened to the long way to a small angry planet? Kongpob. Why? Why? Oh my god. Yeah. You can eat the main because that's the last set. That's the last set of books I wanted to choose from. But still, baby. There you go. It's like, Amy, I'm so sorry. Clearly, Kongpob is a master of, I know what you want, but I'm not gonna give it to you because Lord knows I wanted him to pick The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers because I want to read that book. But no, my cat is like, nah, bitch, nah. That is gonna make you happy, and I live for making you be like, what the fuck? It's like, I am going to be unpredictable, and you're never going to be able to see what I have planned for you coming. And I did not see this coming because my cat chose The Demon King by Cinda Williams Chima. This is the first book in the Several Realms series. I have had this book series now for 2 years. Yeah, 2 years. And I'm like, oh my god, because I had this and I had the spin-off series and I've not read either of them. But in this, we follow Anne, who used to be a thief and is basically trying to, walk the straight and narrow. But that shit is hard. That shit is hard in the kingdom where it is, because it's like, fuck, I should have just stayed a thief. But you cannot stay a thief. And also it's like, I have nothing of worth, like, to offer, because we live, of course, capitalism also exists in fantasy world, and it's like, fuck, we need to feed. And the only thing of worth that I can sell is probably the silver cuffs, but I think they're magic because this shit is not coming off of me. And also they grow as I grow, which is just fucking weird. And I'm like, dude, that is more than fucking weird. You need help. But anyway, so you have Anne, reformed thief, who ends up I think he kind of slips because you see he kind of steals an amulet. I don't know if he steals it or if he takes it or if it happens upon it by accident, but basically he gets in his possession a very powerful amulet that the son of the Eye Wizard of that region, that universe, that world wants really bad, because see, the amulet used to belong to the Demon King, this Demon King being this powerful entity that almost wiped out their entire existence, right? So what it means is that Anne, who picked up this amulet, is fucked and is on the run, because it's like, fuck, what was I doing? Is this amulet even worth it? And I'm like, dude, you already have one magical powerful artifact that you cannot explain on you. Somewhere in your tiny little brain you thought it was a good idea to take an amulet too. Not a very smart thief. Not a very smart thief. But then we also have Reza, whose mother is trying to get her to marry this weird-ass person. And she's like, I don't want to marry. I want to be a queen. But the mother is like, bitch, if I tell you to marry, you marry. And so she's like, fuck. There goes my dream of being the warrior, of being like the warrior queen who defeats the Demon King. And the whole point about it is that at some point, Reza the princess and Anne the thief, their paths would cross and things would become catastrophic. And I'm here for it. I'm ready. I'm like, I have my suspicions, but I'm like, just from the synopsis, it can't be that easy, is it? Is it? But if it ends up being that easy, I'll be like,
I called it.
So those are the 3 books that Kongpob was very kind enough to pick for me to read in March. Moving on to the TBR part of the Throwbackathon, which I actually really love being able to just go through my library and pick up books when I'm participating in a readathon, because Kongpob, I don't trust that cat. I do not trust that cat. Anyway, the Throwbackathon, like I said, is basically feeds into our feelings of nostalgia. And this month's Throwbackathon is going to run from March 14th all the way to 21st. So by the time you're seeing this, there's seven more days. You have the opportunity to, look at the prompts, tighten up your TBR, participate. Please, please do, because these ladies are the bomb. And this year's Readathon, this year's Throwbackathon is inspired by 90s sitcoms, black 90s sitcoms. I'm like... So the very first prompt is Fresh Prince of Bel Air, and we're to read a rags to riches story, or, please keyword being, or one where the MC moves to a new environment where they are out of place. So basically a fish out of water scenario. And for that I chose A Song of Wraith and Ruin by Roseanne A. Brown. In this we follow Malik, who moves with his sister to a new city, Ziran. They are escaping the war of his old city, so he's very happy to get a new life, start afresh, etc, etc. But when they get to the city gate, a demon kind of captures his sister and would only let his sister go if Ziran is able to do one thing, which is kill the princess for his sister's freedom. The princess, on the other hand, is like currently going through a state of mourning. Her mother just died, and so she will soon be queen, but she does not want to be queen. She wants to resurrect her mother, and for her to resurrect her mother, the particular ritual that she's meant to participate in requires the heart, the beating heart of her king. And so she decides, I'm going to hold a competition, a tournament, right? And say that from this tournament, I'm going to pick my future husband. Now, usually people be like, oh my God, she's giving up her freedom. But see, Karina is smart because she feels, all them people that are power hungry and greedy and shit, I bring them in and they're like, oh, participate in this tournament. The one that wins, oh, I crown my king. I kill and I use his heart to bring my mother back, and then I'm no longer queen and things can go back as they were. And I'm like, sis, I feel you, but unfortunately for you, we both know that it's most likely going to be Malik that is going to win this shit. And I'm like, they're going to like end up together, and I'm just ready for that drama. Because would Malik sacrifice his sister, or would Karina sacrifice her mother? Or would they find a way to make it work? I don't know, I'm curious. But it definitely has the new MC, the MC going into a new territory type thing with Malik. And I'm certain that it's probably because he's new in the city. That was why his sister was so easily kidnapped. So we're going to get a fish out of water scenario, but we're also going to get this person trying to save his sister. And I'm down for both. Now, this is where things start to get slightly complicated, because the next prompt is inspired by The Cosby Show, which we love, except for a certain Bill Cosby, he can rot. But anyway, The Cosby Show, we're meant to read a book with a strong black family positively represented. Now, none of the books I have necessarily focus on family, so I can't really tell if there's a strong family unit depicted in it until I read said book. I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that one of the books I have on my list would fulfill that prompt. But the one I'm picking for it is Slay by Brittany Morris. In this, you have Kira, who creates this alternate gaming world in order to, escape the racism that is meted out on black gamers. So she creates this game where it's just black players, black everything, no white people allowed. And when it is that one of the players in our game is murdered as a result of something that happens in game, it turns the whole media attention to our game, and people are like, is it racist for it to be exclude white people? And I'm like,
pause this whole thing right now. Pause this whole thing right now. Pause this whole thing right now.
I'm hoping that a family, even though they do not know that she created this game Slay, I'm hoping that it's still a strong family unit. But even if it is not, I'm hoping that other books on the list would fall into that.
Fingers crossed.
Next prompt is Family Matters, and I'm like, God, I love that show. And it's the glow up, so we're meant to read the coming of age story that we can relate to. And honestly, I think either of these two books will work. Slay, because as a black gamer, I relate so heavily to what Kira goes through in this book, and I think that it would resonate with me. But also, The Girl with the Louding Voice by Abidari has a house help who has a girl who is sold into marriage at age 14, and when her husband died, he sold as a house help to a family, a posh family in Lagos. And when she gets there, she has to deal with all the secrets, the old house of what happened to the girl, and she finds her voice. So it's definitely a coming of age story for her. But the reason why it's relatable to me is because I'm Nigerian. I also did grow up with house helps when I was a child, although my mom did not keep them for long. So this is something that I can relate to. So either of these two books, either of Slay or The Girl with the Louding Voice, would work for this prompt for me. The next prompt is Living Single, and we have to read a book where the relationships are integral to the story. Now, because the Throwbackathon is just for a week, we're allowed to combine prompts, and honestly, I think A Song of Rate and Ruin will fit into this prompt because the entire core of the story is about relationships, right? The relationship between Malik and his sister and what he's willing to sacrifice in order to get her back, and the relationship between Karina and her mother and what she's willing to do and sacrifice in order to get her mother back. And I think that this familiar relationship is core to this, and I'm certain that all that those individual relationships, like Malik with his sister, Karina with her mother, and would also affect the relationship that Malik and Karina would have in the books. And I'm definitely intrigued, and I think that this would work for that prompt. And for A Different World, which I can't wait. I need it to come to Netflix so I can do a rerun, like a rewatch, like why? But anyway, for A Different World, we have to read a book that is set in a university, and for that I am going with Legend Born by Tracy Dion. Yes, people, I'm reading Legend Born. In this, Bree is a high schooler, but she's taking college classes, right? And so this school does takes place in the university, because it's in the university that she sees demons sucking the soul out of people, and she's like, what the fuck? And then, of course, that is when she realizes that there's so much that she does not know, especially with regards to how her mother died. And that there's this group of people called Legend Borns who are descendants from authors, King Arthur's Knights of the Round Table, and it's to them that they battle, demons and everything else. And she does not trust them because one of them did fuck with her memory, especially her memory with regards to how her mother died, and she's not forgiving that, and she wants to bring them down. But then when she realizes that there's this ancient evil brewing and it's the Legend Bonds that would help fight back, she has to decide. She and the boy she partners with have to decide if they are going to join the Legend Bond in order to join this fight. I've been wanting to read this. I got this. It fits, it was made for this prompt. This could also probably work for a coming of age story, so it could work if there's a strong black family dynamic in this. It will work for that prompt as well. The last prompt is Different Strokes, and this is the reader's choice, so I'm meant to read anything, and it depends. If I actually am able to read all these books in a week and I still have time, then I definitely want to read Full Disclosure by Cameron Garrett. In this, we follow Simone, who is HIV positive and who, when her status is revealed in her old school, faced backlash, and so she decided to move schools. And she's in this new school, she's settling in, she's having a great time, she's making good lives with this boy who seems to like her back. And when they start dating, everything is okie dokie and well with her world, until she starts getting threatening notes, and someone is like, they are going to out her status if she does not break up with her boyfriend. And she's like, you know what, fuck you, I refuse to put my life in your hands. You're not going to determine how my story gets out. I am going to be the one to control that narrative. I really, really absolutely adore this, and I've been wanting to read this, and I finally have this book. But yeah, so this would be my free choice. I do not know what Simone's family system is either, so if it ends up being that she has a strong family unit system, then this would work for the strong black family positive representation prompt, and I would just be happy. So yeah, those are all the books I want to read in March. If I'm able to finish those 8 books in March, then I would say that my reading slump is officially over and it's time for a party. Let me know what are some readathons you're looking forward to in March. Let me know which of these books you're looking forward to hearing my thoughts and opinions on. Drop it down in the comments down below. As always, if you did enjoy this video, do not forget to give it a big thumbs up. Check out my other videos. Subscribe if you want to, and if you do decide to subscribe, do not forget to click on that notification bell so you can have all notifications turned on so you don't miss any of my new videos. I make new videos every Wednesdays and Sundays at 2 p.m. EST. Yes, that is 2 p.m. EST, and I'll see you soon. Until then, stay passionate, love books, love yourself. Bye. And here he is, being like Demon King, the long way to a small angry planet. No, there is no food in this. Kongpob, look into the camera. Say hi to the people. It's like, bitch, I am not doing anything. There is no food. Kongpob, why are you sniffing the floor? Hmm? What are you doing? What are you doing? Baby? Yeah, lick yourself. Be like, I am bored. There is no food. I am bored. And he keeps going back. The food has not magically appeared since the last time you came. There was still no treats on there. Yeah, scratch yourself. Scratch yourself. But who is a big boy? Look at you. You've grown so big. His face